Hi, welcome to the second in the series of our article marketing video training. Hope you enjoyed last week and learning about keywords, the relevancy of them, and how to research the ones that are associated to your business and your products. This week we're going to move on to creating some desire within your article. Obviously your article needs to be optimized to be found, but when people are reading your article, we want them to be engaged and motivated by what you're saying so that they feel compelled to buy. As usual, we've got some slides for you now, so let's switch across to those and take you through how to build some desire within your copy.
Okay, thanks for that introduction, Phil. Yeah, let's crack on with this short presentation on the next phase of article marketing. So a bit of a recap on what we told you last week. Remember, there are two audiences, if you like, for your article. One is Google, and we spent a bit of time last week talking about keywords, how you can make sure that Google finds your article and Google likes it, Google ranks it highly. This week we're going to focus on your other audience, which is the potential clients, so the human readers of your article. There are a few overall keys that you need to keep in mind as you write your article. The first is, write it as you talk one-to-one to somebody down the coffee shop or down the pub. Don't try and make it a formal sort of academic type presentation. It's not like that. It's not like a speech that you're giving to hundreds of people. The format, the style of the web is much more informal than that, much more one-to-one and a nice sort of friendly style. Always keep in mind that well-known radio station, WII-FM. Yes, it's a cliche, but everybody is interested in your readers are certainly interested in what's in it for me. What value can I derive from spending time reading this article? What's in it for me? Always use headers and short paragraphs, and that's really important because one of the things to think about on the web, which is probably more important than in print, is it's got to be easy on the eye. That if somebody clicks onto your article, they see one header and they see just row after row of plain text, they won't read it, they won't click onto it. It's got to be easy on the eye, it's got to be split up by headers, split up again by images if you can do that, and use short paragraphs so that it looks inviting for people to dive into. There's a proven structure to writing articles that sell, that compel people to action. We haven't got time to go through all 9 elements this week, but I've picked out a couple that are really important. Okay, the first is you need to write a great headline. You'll know yourself from reading the tabloids or reading any sort of article that it's the headline that drags you in. You need to touch the emotion of the reader. You need to use active words. It needs to be compelling. You need to use compelling active words that get people in. So discover, explore, learn, things like that. So people know what they're getting. The words need to be compelling, the content of the words need to be the greatest benefit to your reader. So typically when you're reading a decent sized article, decent length of article, there'll be 2 or 3 benefits that the reader's getting out of it. You need to take the greatest benefit and turn that into your headline. That's really important so that people are really keen to the what's in it for me. A killer tip when you're thinking about writing a headline is to include a photo or an image, and preferably a photo, just after the headline that illustrates the headline. So not a sort of random photo or random image, but something that backs up the headline and typically will give the benefit or the result of the headline that you're talking about. Okay, that all sounds a bit more complicated than it is. Let's give you a great example, which is one that we've used before. Say you wrote a headline, you wrote an article on presentation skills, how to give great presentations, and you headlined it with how to get a standing ovation every time you make a speech. You would then have the photo of an audience on their feet clapping enthusiastically, so the photo illustrates the result of reading your article, and that's one that's worked, and it's worked for a long time now. So one of the bywords, we've got one of our taglines in Business Accelerator, is let's always make it easy. So you'll not be surprised that we use a tool every time we're writing a new article to kickstart the process. Okay, now this is a great way to give hundreds of ideas, literally hundreds of ideas. That's not an exaggeration. It's not unusual when you use this little tool, clever little bit of software, to get 500 ideas or 4 headlines out of it. So we use that, and we will put a link on our site, on our blog, so that you can click through and have a look at it. It is a great bit of kit, because for most of us there's nothing worse than starting off with a blank sheet of paper. This stops you doing that. Now, you may not use the any of the headlines, but what it does is it prompts ideas and you put 2 or 3 of them together. So it's well worth the money. So let's move on to talk about the body copy. Nothing sort of clever about it. It's the words under the headline, before the headline and the finish. It's just, this is what sort of copywriters call it, the body copy. As you would expect, it does follow a structure. Not going into all the key elements, but one of the high level things to remember is that you're appealing to the left and the right side of the brains of your readers. Okay, so you're appealing to the left logical side using facts, figures, that sort of thing, and the right side of the brain using emotion, creating desire. So when you're writing your article, you keep in mind that you're going to include facts and emotion. You're going to amalgamate the two to appeal to most people, or to everybody. For goodness sake, include a link. That's the idea of article marketing, else you've missed out the marketing bit and you're just writing an article. This link could be to your site homepage if that's appropriate, or to a specific page like ours are, directing you to read a blog post and then move on to buying a book in this case. You need to include the link before you end your article. So don't get to the end of the article and then include the link. Include your link typically 2/3, 3/4 of the way into the article. So people have got a good idea what you're talking about, but they haven't come to the end of it yet. And include your link just after creating desire. So just after writing a paragraph or 2, which is creating desire, which is appealing to the emotional side of people's brains, that's the time to include a link for more information or to buy or whatever the specific action is, just after you've created a desire. So to sum up, in writing great copy, the things to keep in mind: you're there to engage your reader. Okay, you're there to use compelling words to get them in, to get them to read more. You always want to prompt action. You want to do it from the reader's point of view, and you want to get them to take a specific action, which will normally be click on a link to read more. I mean, maybe buy something directly from the article if that's appropriate, but it's always a specific action. And time after time we tell people to do it from the reader's point of view. If the reader may be interested in your background, but probably not. Many articles start off with that, and it's just not relevant. It's just not compelling. So those are some of the things to keep in mind. As ever, you could discover more about article marketing by clicking onto the bottom link to read more in our blog, including a link to the great tool I was talking about for creating superb headlines, and also to buy our workbook. That's been a run through around what to write in your article. Previous week we talked about how to write it for Google. So next week we'll be talking about how you can get it placed. Where do you need to put your article so that both Google and your human readers see it? I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll be here next week. Thanks a lot.